Yo, how is everybody doing? Mm. If he is alive, Iran vows to pursue kill Netanyahu amid death rumors. Mhm, 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 mhm. Iran remarks some amid social media posts raising questions about the whereabouts of Benjamin Netanyahu. Yahoo! Iran Sunday vow to pursue and kill Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as it continues strikes on Israel with the 16th day of the war in the Middle East. If this child killing criminal is alive, we will continue to pursue and kill him with full force. The Iran's Revolutionary Guard said in a statement amid social media posts raising questions about the whereabouts of Netanyahu, who has reportedly not been seen in the public for a few days. Several users have flagged concerns over his MASH 12 video, which made it seem like he has 6 fingers on one of his hands, raising suspicion of it being edited using artificial intelligence. So, what do you guys think? Do you think it was AI or do you think it was an actual real video? Because some people actually pointed out that he's got 6 fingers in the video. And not just that, he had a few missing teeth as well in the video. Yo, how's it going, bro? You're right. Have you been following the World War? Have you been following the what's going on right now? Do you think Netanyahu is dead? By the way, I'm just going through it. All right. I'll give it 2 minutes. Be back. In the video, 76-year-old Netanyahu was addressing his first news conference since the US and Israeli strikes on Iran started on February 28th. He had issued a veiled threat to kill new Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei and defended the Israeli military operations. Mm. I will now detail the actions we are taking. We are creating the optimal conditions for toppling the regime, but I won't deny that I can't tell you with all certainty that the people of Iran will topple the regime. A regime is toppled from the inside, Netanyahu said in Hebrew. It's not toppled from inside. I mean, Netanyahu is kind of lying, obviously. And then there's Hebrew language. I wish I could actually read it. That would have been better. Benjamin Netanyahu on March 13, 2026. American conservative political commentator Candace Owens was among those who asked, "Where's Bibi?" referring to Netanyahu by his nickname. Why is his office releasing and deleting fake AI videos from him, and why is the mass panic at the White House? I mean, the thing is, if the videos are actually fake, if they are saying that they are actually the fake AI videos, why are they deleting the videos? She posted on X on Saturday. Netanyahu's office debunks reports of his death. Benjamin Netanyahu's office denied reports of his death and said he is fine. These are fake news. The prime minister is fine. His office told Turkey Anadolu agency when asked if they had a statement on the increasing claims on social media that Netanyahu has been assassinated. Netanyahu's office or his aides, however, have so far not issued any official statement on whether he's dead or whether he's alive. So they have not even confirmed it. That's kind of crazy, right? If you know he's not dead, at least say it. Some users have also said that his son Yair Netanyahu has been missing from social media. Yair, who has about 284,000 followers on X and has been very active, has not posted anything since March 9. That's kind of crazy. March 9 has been a while. 6 days ago. Iran Israel US war. The Middle East was plunged into chaos after the US and Israel carried out joint strikes on Iran last month, killing 86-year-old Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and sparking a war. In response, Iran has been attacking US and Israel military bases. So there's a lot of damage that has been done to Israel as well. I think Tel Aviv is a mess right now. And that's one of the reasons Benjamin Netanyahu actually had to evade his country. Israel and the US have also been striking Iranian sites. The war has killed more than 2,000 people. 2,000 people. I think there's 1,300 to 1,400 Iranians actually dead. and the rest are like Israeli and Americans. Yo, how you doing, bro? What do you think about Benjamin Netanyahu, by the way? Do you think he's alive or dead? According to the reports, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things. Like the thing about that is the Israeli government has actually denied the facts. They have denied the accusations that he's dead, but they've also said that the accusations are unconfirmed. So basically, they haven't even fully denied it. Like they deny the claim that he's dead, but they haven't told us that he's alive. So I don't even know what that means. All right, we're just gonna look at the coffee video. You think he's dead? Unbelievable. I'm dead for coffee. Benjamin Netanyahu hits back at rumors alleging his death in a cafe video. Rumors were sparked from social media users claimed the Israeli leader had 6 fingers on one hand during a press conference, recording a video from in a cafe. It comes after the PM delivered a press conference this week in which some social media users claimed that was an AI deepfake and appeared to show with 6 fingers, one on hand. The theory grew momentum, leading to allegations Netanyahu had been killed. But releasing a video from a cafe on Sunday, he said, "Do you want to count my fingers?" You can see them here and here. Very, very nice. So basically, in the video, you can actually see the guy's actually showing his fingers. He's saying, "Count my fingers. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Look, I got 5 fingers. See, very nice." China has some heart when America doesn't. China has some heart when America doesn't. Of course, I mean, China is on Iran's side right now. They've also given some aid to the university students who've been dead, to their families actually, which is kind of a nice gesture from China. Very diplomatic at the same time. Supreme, okay, Iran war. Tehran denies claim Supreme leader is dead after Trump suggests he's not alive. So what is, I'm dead. Oh, dude, the title of the video is actually pretty nice. The video is captioned, the video that he uploaded in the coffee cafe? The caption was, "They say I am what? Watch this, I am dead. For coffee," as he makes his order. Pretty nice. "I love my nation to death," he said. Netanyahu's office has previously labeled the rumors as fake news, along the Prime Minister's fine. He also pledged that his government restrictions on activity will be lifted as soon as possible, telling his followers, "Your support is amazing. It empowers me. The government, the IDF, we are doing things I can't share now, but very strong operations in Iran and Lebanon today too." In Lebanon, they're actually taking a lot of area, but at the same time, in Lebanon, these strikes are pretty accurate. They're only destroying the places that they actually need to destroy, where the Hezbollah is actually hiding. So that tells you Israeli intelligence is on point. That also tells you that Israel's accuracy is also on point. Their accuracy is on point, but they couldn't do the same thing in Palestine. To everyone, keep following home front command orders at all times. Even heads of state, star always near a protected man. We'll do our best. He also joked, "Thanks for the coffee. I don't know about calories." Okay, I'm gonna have to look at some different links. The White press conference had been frozen in a way. Okay, let me find something else. I mean, today somebody was actually posting that even this video is fake. The coffee video is fake. I mean, I was looking at the speed of the coffee video, and it looks like Benjamin Netanyahu's own speed doesn't match with everything else in the video. So that's where it felt like it was kind of fake. Okay, we're gonna try to find another link. Fact check. Social media platforms were flooded with questions asking whether the Israeli leader had been targeted in an airstrike after a screen grab was shared of him speaking, with viewers noticing what it looked like 6 fingers in one hand. Official Israeli government media channels or from New York's own account. Officials have confirmed the reports were fabricated with no indication that Netanyahu was targeted in an attack or had left Israel. He put the unfounded conspiracy theories surrounding his death to bed in a new video, ordering coffee at a cafe. I'm done with this, bro. There's no way to fact check, actually. We're just going to wait for that. Read the comments on that video. You talk about that video? Like, actually, the comments on that video? I don't know the official page, but what I can do is I can pull up the video that I actually... Maybe I sent you something on Instagram.
big breaking news. Allegedly, Netanyahu has been confirmed dead. According to this journalist, this is the first report we have that's kind of official. It starts to make sense. So if this is true, this is big fucking news. So check this out. According to Kabak, he goes by at
Listen to this.
KTurk_1905 1919 over on X, and he says Netanyahu died on March 11th in a hospital in Germany. May he have abundant fire. I think that
Can you hear
means
that?
may he burn in hell for all of eternity. I think at least that's what I'm hoping. Journalist speech translates into, according to my source, the shelters where Benjamin Netanyahu was hiding was hit by a Fatima missile from Iran on March 2nd. He was then put in an artificial coma, and they wanted to get him out of the country. But when they asked European countries for help, they all said, no thanks. Only Germany accepted him. As we all know, the plane called Wing of Zion was seen in Berlin, Germany. He stayed in a coma for about a week and died on March 11th. They say they will publish this news tomorrow on the 15th, and this is definite information according to my sources. God bless Iran. Let's go, baby. How freaking awesome is this? Gosh bless. God bless Iran. The amount of innocent women and children that Iran literally just saved, I don't even know if it can be stated. Now, all they need to do is take out the rest of the regime in Israel. They're done. They're cooked. Mossad's done. Ben Gurion's done. They're all been fucking cooked. They got their asses handed to them. We're not letting you flee. You want to fight this war? Go put your ass in the front lines. Get yourself in a fucking tank. Get yourself in a rocket silo and start firing them rockets. Because if we're bringing our boys home, motherfuckers, there ain't nothing you can do about it. You got your asses handed to you. You got all of our military bases blown up in the Middle East. You're going to force us to remove our military from about 20 different fucking countries, and it's all going to come crashing fucking down around you guys. The Strait will reopen once we pay our debts, and we'll move out of the fucking region. They won. Iran won. Tell the fucking world. Iran won this war. Our troops should be coming fucking home. Netanyahu's dead. The king's dead. They conquered the castle. They should submit and fucking like the little bitches that they are, because we're not sending our sons and daughters. There ain't no fucking draft gonna happen, Pete Hegseth. Sorry, Zion, old boy.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? It's the same thing for the military. Like the USA military, they actually just been following the orders. And this is something that they signed up for, and they kind of, it feels like they have to do it, right? But they also have an option, which is to leave the military and say, no, we're not going to be able to do it. We're just not going to do it. Because I know a lot of people in the military, they actually don't want to do it. There's a lot of people in the military, right? They're actually speaking up as well, and they don't want to do it. But why are they forced to do it? Because you're part of the military. And I totally understand it, right? They're getting money from it. But at the same time, man, it's you're playing with the danger. You're playing with your life, and you can actually die for it. Look, I am all for the advocate for actually dying for your country. If you're dying for your country, actually dying for your nation, doing something big, do it. Every man should be able to do it. Every man should actually do it. But there was no threat of war. Iran is not the one that actually initiated the war. There was no reason for it. Iran is far away from USA. They don't have a single missile that can even travel to USA. Do they have missiles that can actually attack Israel? Yes, they have missiles that can attack Israel. But they were not the first ones to actually attack Israel as well. Israel was the one who actually initiated the war. Iran didn't make the first attempt. And the reason why the war actually happened is because Israel claimed that Iran had the nuclear facility, but they would destroy the nuclear facility in June. So what was the point? Do you think they made a new nuclear facility within 6 months and they're actually on their way to make the atomic bomb again? That's kind of like a stupid claim. So if Iran actually had the nukes, they wouldn't have been able to attack Iran. Then the war would not have happened. So everybody's stupid. Well, let's throw a party. How about a party in the middle of the war? Party in Tehran. Okay, by the way, guys, the war actually may get prolonged to a point that we can't even comprehend, to be honest. Tehran says ready for long war. Israel expands strikes. That's the thing. Iran actually has a capacity to go for a long war because all the drones and all the missiles that they're actually making cost only like $30,000. Opposed to US and Israel, who spend like millions of dollars on one missile. So Iran is much more economical. Also, the missiles that they're actually making doesn't even take a lot of time to actually make those missiles, because you don't need a lot to actually make those missiles, right? So let's see what happens. All right, we're checking Al Jazeera right now. That the United States and Israel continue their attacks on Iran, with missiles striking multiple sites across the central Ifashan province. Dozens have been reportedly killed. We know there's a lot of casualties in Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says Tehran never sought a ceasefire with the USA and is ready for a long war. See, Iran is actually saying that we have not actually sought a ceasefire, but if you look at Donald Trump's new statement, he's saying that Iran has been completely demolished. They've been begging for a ceasefire to me. Nah, dude, we understand what you're doing right now. Right now, you know that you're not winning the war. You're running out of weapons. The war is becoming too economic for you, actually. That's a problem for you. The state of Hormuz, Iran is actually fighting a war of attrition right now. So they're going to take any opportunity that they can from you. They know that they don't have the same military capabilities as you. But what they can do is they can economically destroy you. They can destroy your bases. They can keep the state of Hormuz closed. That's going to be a big fuck you to USA, and that's why Trump cannot actually take it anymore. And he's like, "Oh, they're losing it." You know, Trump likes painting his own narrative. He does that all the time. He doesn't. He's not looking at the truth. He's not. He's never telling the story which is actually happening. He can make a story, any story at any point. Rocket and drone attacks targets Baghdad. International airport complex. They have attacked Iraq as well. Holy shit. A security source has told Al Jazeera that a logistics support camp situated near the Baghdad International Airport complex has been targeted by drone strike, and five Katyusha rockets. A similar attack earlier left five people injured. By the way, do you know the story between Iraq and Iran? So Iraq and Iran actually had a war, and USA was actually supporting Iraq in that war because they were on the side of Saddam Hussein, which they actually killed later on. But Saddam Hussein attacked Iran, and I don't know the exact reason why he actually attacked Iran, but there was something going on. Maybe, yeah, maybe it was something with the Iranian Revolution. So Iran was pretty westernized country when Reza Shah Pahlavi was actually the monarch of Iran. They were actually making good foreign policies with Israel and America. They were fully in control of both of those countries. And Saddam Hussein was actually on the side of USA as well. But then when the Iranian Revolution actually happened and Iran got taken over by the religious party, that's when the war actually happened. Iraq and Iran had a real war, and a lot of people actually died in that war. Who had accepted humanitarian was remaining in Australia. Okay, so Iranian football team in Australia is actually seeking asylum over there. A fifth member of the Iranian women's football team who had accepted a humanitarian visa to remain in Australia has not left the country, according to the Australian government. The player departed shortly before midnight on Sunday, leaving two of the original seven squad members who had initially stayed behind. I think there was a pressure on Australia from USA to actually take those members, because if they go back to Iran, they wouldn't be treated very well, according to Donald Trump. And that's also his way to actually please more feminists. Okay, let me bring out the history between Iran and Iraq. Iran and Iraq had a war, but I want to bring the history why they actually fought. Iran and Iraq war explained. Conflict. All right, so I don't know how authentic Wikipedia is when it comes to the information, but I'm actually going to read it from here. The Iran-Iraq War began with the Iraqi invasion of Iran in September 1980. So the revolution actually happened in 1979, I think. After 8 years of conflict, both countries accepted a ceasefire. 8 years of conflict, deal brokered by the United Nations, which became effective in August 1988. The war caused around 500,000 deaths in one war. This is unbelievable, excluding numbers from the related Anfal campaign. So there were actually more numbers, making it the deadliest conventional war ever fought between regular armies of developing countries. This is unbelievable. And Iranian child soldiers on the front line. I want to see why the war actually happened, because I think there was something with the Iranian Revolution. They were getting out of the control of the USA. They were moving to a theocratic state, and Iraq, that was controlled by USA at that time, didn't like it. Okay, in starting the war, the Iraqi government, led by President Saddam Hussein, primarily wanted to prevent Khamenei, Ruhollah Khamenei, Iran's leader following the 1979 Iranian Revolution, from exporting Iran's new state ideology to Iraq. So I don't know how the Iran was actually exporting the ideology to Iraq, but it seems like Iraq was getting a bit influenced by that as well. Iraq also feared that Iran, being a theocratic state mostly composed of Shia Muslims, who would rally Iraq's Shia majority against the Sunni Muslim controlled Ba'athist government. So Iran and Iraq are following the same religion but different sects. So Iran is mostly Shia prominent, and Iraq has, I think, 50% Shias, 50% Muslim. I don't know how they divided, by the way, but they have both the groups in like great amount. But Saddam Hussein was like a Sunni, and Sunnis actually controlled the government. So he was actually a little bit afraid that Iran would bring that theocratic state to Shia as to Iraq as well, and the Shia Muslims in Iraq would actually get influenced, and they might actually be able to take over his government. So I think that was a threat that Saddam Hussein was actually facing. Iraq also wished to replace Iran as the main national power in the Persian Gulf. That is true. I mean, these two countries are one of the biggest countries in the Persian Gulf, and Iraq wanted to replace Iran. The war followed a long running history of border disputes between the two states. As a result of which, Iraq planned to retake the eastern bank of the Shatt al Arab River that it has ceded to Iran in the 1975 Algiers government. The conflict involved large-scale trench warfare and deliberate attacks on civilians, including Iraqi chemicals attacks. At the start of the war, Iraq expected a decisive victory, considering Iran's post-revolutionary chaos. But their invasion has stalled by December 1980. By the way, what do you think about what do you guys think about Winston Churchill? Completely different topic, by the way. But what do you guys think about Winston Churchill? I mean, I was watching a video. We are being told that Hitler was such a bad guy, and he was probably, if he killed actually 12 million people, I mean, that's such a barbaric attack. But according to the video that I was actually watching, Hitler actually told them that we're not going to kill any civilians. When Germany was in a war with England, Hitler said we would not kill any civilians. We'll just be fighting, we'll just be targeting the specific army departments and stuff, right? But what Winston Churchill did is he started killing civilians in Germany. He did like a few attacks. So it was like 2 attacks, 3 attacks, and then he did like a few attacks. And he killed a lot of kids and a lot of women. So a lot of family members, a lot of civilians were actually killed. And Hitler did not like that gesture. And although he did not attack them back after the first gesture, but when it happened like a few times, multiple times, Hitler actually gave them a warning saying that I would actually destroy England if you do that again. And that's when Hitler actually started killing civilians himself. But before that, I think he was actually prohibiting himself from doing this. But again, we can get a different source and read about it. But history is very complicated. History is always written by the winners, and that's why it's really hard to trust it. Um, okay, so Iraq in that war was actually aided by the National Council of Resistance of Iran, the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union, France, Italy. Bro, I can't believe this. Iraq was aided by the Soviet Union? That doesn't even make any sense. France, Italy, Yugoslavia, and most Arab countries. Iran was aided by the Kurdistan Government Democratic Party. So Kurdistan Democratic Party. See, that's the support of Iran, and that's why Iraqis actually hate them. You know how many Kurds Saddam Hussein actually killed in his life? It was like 1 million Kurds he actually killed. That was a lot. And Syria, Libya, North Korea, China, South Yemen, Pakistan, Cuba. Iran actually got supported by Pakistan as well. I mean, Pakistan and Iran share borders, so I do understand that. Cuba and Israel. Meanwhile, Iraqi support for Arab separates in Iran increased. After years of military and economic losses, decreasing morale, intensifying Iran-U.S. relations, and a later international action against Iraqi attacks on Iranian civilians, Iran agreed to a ceasefire with Iraq under United Nations Security Council Resolution 598. The war did not create any permanent border changes, and neither countries received war preparations afterwards. Both sides suffered financially. They continued engaging in low-level military conflict until relations improved following Saddam Hussein overthrows in 2003. Oh, okay, man. It was something. The war actually started over Shatt al Arab River. That's where the war actually started. Anyway, whatever. Okay, what is happening right now? Iran's team had traveled to Australia. What are we? Israeli warplanes hit southern Beirut. Israel is hitting Beirut as well. Does Beirut actually have a Shia majority? Our team on the ground reports a large strike on Dahia, also known as the southern suburbs of Beirut. Israeli jets could be heard flying low in the skies over the city moments after a large explosion rocked the Lebanese capital. Oh, Beirut is the capital of Lebanon, actually. What am I doing right now? Okay, so I'm gonna open something else now. What is happening with the state of Hormuz, by the way? Why can't USA open the strait off? All right, guys, we're gonna find out if USA can actually What is the Strait of Hormuz, and can the US stop Iran from blocking it? Now we have seen the results. Practically, we know that USA cannot do that, but we're gonna find out the reason why USA cannot do that actually. Oh my God, Guardian. Energy prices have soared as Iranian strikes and reports of mines prevent ships from transiting the choke point. The choke point. Okay, more than 1,000 cargo ships, mainly oil and gas tankers, have been blocked from transiting the Strait of Hormuz by the Israeli-US war against Iran after Tehran closed the key maritime passage. Officials in the Trump administration have suggested ways to get ships moving again. But amid continued Iran strikes on tankers and reports that Iran has started mining the narrow waterway, the proposed naval escorts have failed to materialize. Even as energy prices have soared, what is the Strait of Hormuz? The strait is the only maritime passage between the Gulf and the Gulf of Oman and the route for about a quarter of the world's liquefied natural gas. That is crazy, by the way. 25% of the natural gas of the whole world. This is what we're talking about. And the seaborne trade from Gulf countries to reach the global market, sipping in the choke point. I mean, it's going to be really bad for the Gulf countries, to be honest, like the other countries, like Qatar or like Kuwait and those countries. Shipping in the choke point is confined to a pair of 2 mile wide lanes, one for about outbound traffic and one for incoming, separated by 2 mile wide median. So there's like 2 mile wide lanes. So there's a pair of two lanes, and they both are like 2 miles. That is pretty massive actually. And this is only the width, by the way. All right, I can see that on the map. So this is Iran. This is Iran. These are the Gulf countries. This is Kuwait, Kuwait City. And this is the Strait of Hormuz. All right, I see that. I see that. At its narrowest, the strait is just 21 nautical miles wide. Man, the strait is actually pretty big. I thought it would be like a smaller thing. It is 24 miles wide at its narrowest, with the deepest channel constrained on one side by the coast of Iran and on the other by the Musandam Peninsula in Oman. Okay, so this is Iran and this is Oman. Yeah. As a global trade route in a politically complex region, the strait has been targeted for leverage, including during the tanker war in the Iran-Iraq conflict in the 1980s. In response to that threat, the U.S. Navy initiated Operation Earnestville in 1987, the largest convoy operation since the Second World War. As part of its policy to widen the geographic scope of the war and increase the global costs associated with it, Iran has attacked ships and reportedly started to lay mines in the strait, in effect closing it to marine traffic. That has pushed up insurance premiums for cargo operators also concerned about the safety of their crews, although insurance policies continue to be written. This is what I want to see, to be honest. When they're mining it actually in the sea, I want to see how they're actually doing it. How do you mine the Strait of Hormuz? How do you mine? To mine the Strait of Hormuz refers to the act of placing underwater explosive devices. Underwater explosive devices? How deep is that? Naval mines in this critical waterway to block maritime traffic or target specific vessels. As of March 15, 2026, this term is highly relevant due to the reports that Iran has begun laying mines in the strait. The Strait of Hormuz is the world's most vital energy choke point, and the mining is a strategy used to exert immense global economic and military pressure. Approximately 20% of the world's crude oil and 25% of the seaborne oil trade pass through this narrow corridor daily. That is insane, man. The world is cooked right now. The whole planet is cooked right now. We need to be begging to Iran. Everybody should be begging to Iran right now. Mining the strait effectively halts this flow. I think Pakistan doesn't have a problem with it. I think Pakistan has nothing to do with that because it's mostly the Arabian countries, the Arabian Peninsula. that is struggling with it, and obviously Europe would have some problems with it as well. Maybe China too, but I do not believe that they will be able to hurt this, defend that heavily. I don't know, bro. But bro, how many countries are getting affected with this? By the way, we know all the countries in the Persian Gulf are getting affected with this. All the Arabian Peninsula, the Middle Eastern countries are getting affected by it, right? European countries are getting affected by it as well. I think, right? Do you think the countries in the South Asia are actually getting affected by it? I'm talking about like India, Pakistan, and like those countries. The strait is only about 21 to 31 miles wide at its narrowest point. Shipping is restricted to the 2 mile wide lanes, making it easy to create a lethal barrier with relatively few mines. Even the threat of mines can be. Your comments are actually getting blocked. It depends on like what you're writing in the comments, to be honest. Like sometimes if you write something that is YouTube has like a lot of filters on, a bit less than TikTok, but still it's a lot of filters. While laying mines is cheap and fast, often using small civilian looking boats, clearing them is a slow, dangerous, and expensive process that can take weeks or months. Explode upon physical impact with a ship's hull. Okay, contact mines are the ones that explode upon physical impact with a ship's hull. So as soon as the ship clashes with the mine or with the ship's hull, that might be the bottom of the ship, I guess, and then the mine explodes. Influence mines, triggered by a ship's magnetic field, engine noise, or water pressure changes. Man, that is kind of crazy. So like even if the ship is like a bit away, I guess, if there's like a bit of distance between the ship and the mine, but just by observing the ship's magnetic field, maybe sensing it, engine noise or water pressure, it actually explodes. That's kind of crazy as well. Bottom mines, then you have the rest on the seabed and are typically used in shallow waters to target ships passing overhead. So these are the mines that are actually underneath sort of water, so on the water surface, basically underneath, like in the depth, on the ground, I'd say. But like this is on the sea, right? The mines are actually underneath the sea. So if the sea is, I'll say like 2 kilometers deep, then do the mines actually affect it? Because that's actually a lot of distance travel. So if they explode like underneath the sea, would they actually affect the ship? I don't know. Then you have drifting mines, float freely with currents. Though banned by international law, they are highly effective at disrupting trade. So they are very effective at disrupting trade, but they get banned by the international law most of the times. Following recent military escalations, U.S. intelligence reports indicate Iran has placed a few dozen mines in the waterway. In response, the U.S. military has claimed to have eliminated several Iranian mine-laying vessels to keep the passage open. So there's a war of the mines going on. When I'm talking about Iran and America, dude, my comments are getting. Yeah, I know when you talk about Iran and America and you say something, I don't even know if it's like the keywords that you're saying that they would block, but it could also be something that they think is not appropriate. And YouTube is the one that actually makes the decision of what is appropriate or not. Like, to be honest, I don't give a fuck. You can say whatever you want. Is YouTube is just like that. Okay. Surely this would have been anticipated by Washington when it decided to attack Iran. So did the US actually fuck censorship? Yeah, fuck censorship, bro. I don't know what's going on right now. You know what? Like TikTok is the softest place I've seen, even though YouTube does like a bit of censorship as well. But if you look at TikTok, TikTok is just on a different level. Like you could have a comment that is not even offensive to anyone, to be honest, and TikTok would just delete a comment based on like their own thinking. Like I'm actually talking to like if I join somebody else's stream, right? I would say like I was gonna say something like this, but then TikTok actually took my comment off, and the streamer itself would actually say they themselves would say that they would not get offended by that, but it's just a TikTok that is actually making those decisions. Kind of crazy. Surely this would have been okay. US military planners have long warned that Iran could try to close the strait in the event of a conflict, but the Trump administration appears to have failed to anticipate such a response. So I would say this is the weak leadership of USA as well. Their anticipation wasn't good because they should have known that if you're attacking Iran, Iran is going to do something like this. Iran doesn't have the military capabilities like USA or Israel. They don't have the same sort of weapons. Their intelligence is not as good. So obviously they're going to be doing the war of attrition. They're going to try to do as much damage to you possible. It could be economic damage because they can directly win the war. But I guess USA did not actually anticipate that. While some analysts had bet Iran would keep the strait open to ensure export of its own oil, the existential threat to Tehran's clerical regime have triggered a far harsher response. Darth Clorox, innocent school children. Yeah, that was so sad, man. That was actually very sad. And I'm actually more sad. I'm actually more disappointed by the response of the U.S. military and by like Hexat, Donald Trump. Like they could have just apologized. First of all, you are firing a Tomahawk missile, right? And U.S. is one of the best intelligence. Their missiles are very accurate as well. So there's no way they could have just accidentally dropped a missile. It's not like USA's planes are going and they accidentally the plane just got open and the missile just got dropped, right? It doesn't happen like this. Obviously, they were targeting something, but they could have come up with a better response. They could have said, "We are so sorry about this. Like we're actually apologizing. This is not what we were trying to hit." There was like a military base close to that, maybe made something like that up. But Donald Trump is completely like, "We're doing an investigation on this. We don't even know." They were like, he was saying that Iran actually fired its own missile. When does Iran actually fire its own missiles on its own people? That never happens. And then Hexeth is like, even Hexeth was like, we're doing the investigation into this. Every single time his answer was this. And then they actually found a video where they're saying it's a Tomahawk missile. And USA is the only one that possesses the Tomahawk missile. No other country actually has that. And but Donald Trump's response was like, well, this is like a generic missile. All of the countries have that. No, but then they found out, they told him that we have done an investigation into this, and it was your plane that actually fired the Tomahawk missile. And then Trump again didn't have an answer. He didn't say anything. They specifically target children, not soldiers or government. Some people have like, I don't know how true that is, but some people actually believe that they do it for like sacrifice too, for like child sacrifice. They do that because they believe in Baal as a god. And I'm not talking about all the Jews, but it's like the religion has been hijacked. The part of the religion has been hijacked by some of the cultural practices that they had. And if they do actually believe in that, and if that's the reason why they attack kids, then it's pretty messed up, man. This world is cooked if we're doing this, to be honest. But if you look at it, it's not even a good use of the weapons, right? So if you're attacking a country, you would want to make sure that you attack their bases. You want to make sure that you attack their weapon factories, you attack their army bases. So if you're killing civilians, I mean, it's a pretty barbaric act, but at the same time, if you look at it from a strategical point of view, you're actually wasting your weapons because, USA and Israel are actually running low on the weapons. So if you're looking at the war strategy, I mean, it's a pretty stupid war strategy as well, but I think they just get carried away. um okay, why is the US Navy WikiLeaks showed us years ago? Yeah, bro, that was so bad, like WikiLeaks and all of this stuff, right? There was something about the Pizzagate in the wiki. Was that like part of the WikiLeaks? The Pizzagate, um, that was pretty damn bad as well. I mean, there were people who were saying that they were eating kids and all of this stuff even back then, but they kind of like shut down the investigations. Everything was kind of closed around 2018, 19. But we know it's a pretty messed up situation. It has long been understood by the US military planners the countering an Iranian move to close the strait would be highly complex, reinforced by the experience of shipping being targeted by the Houthis in Yemen. While the US has been targeting Iran's larger naval forces, the country also has small, fast boats, which the US says have been used for mine laying in recent days. The proximity of the Iranian coast to launch missiles and drones against shipping creates its own issues, in particular with Iran being able to swarm targets, making it more difficult to counter. With transit lanes in places only 3 to 4 miles from the Iranian shoreline at the nearest, flight times for drones and missiles are very short, giving ships less than 2 minutes to react. All right, that's a difficult one for the other for US to actually open the Hormuz. It doesn't seem like it's going to be possible for them. Okay, I'm just putting up WikiLeaks, and let's say what were the important points of WikiLeaks. Um, 2010 Iraq and Afghan War Diaries released nearly 500,000 classified documents, including the collateral murder video showing a 2007 US helicopter strike that killed civilians and journalists. 2010 Cablegate published over 250,000 US diplomatic cables revealing candid assessments of world leaders and foreign policy. 2016, I was saying America was targeting Afghani civilians on record. Yeah, it does seem like this. They were actually doing that. This is pretty bad, man. Unbelievable. And by the way, America seems to have like a moral high ground all the time, but they were the ones who were actually smuggling a lot of drugs as well. Look at the business. So Taliban's, they actually Afghanistan is like the one of the biggest exporter of like heroin because their country actually produces that a lot. That's like the biggest source of income for them. USA, when USA soldiers actually went over there, the production of heroin and the export of heroin actually went to a different level because USA soldiers were actually doing a lot of heroin themselves. They actually were trying to make money on that as well. It's kind of crazy, right? Like we always have problems where people actually selling drugs, especially the countries like, let's say, Mexico and Venezuela. Like USA literally attacked Venezuela because of the drugs. I mean, this was behind it, right? That they were actually doing fentanyl and stuff. And by the way, Venezuela is not even the top 5 exporter of any of the drugs. They don't do that, whether it's cocaine or fentanyl. Mexico is like one of the biggest exporters. But they were doing that. They've been doing that for a long, long time. Disseminating 2016 US election leaks, disseminating internal emails from the Democratic National Committee DNC and the Clinton campaign, which US intelligence later linked to Russian state actors. So that was one of the leaks. 2017 Vault 7 published details of the CIA's extensive electronic surveillance cyber warfare capabilities. By the way, what do you think about the CIA documents that actually reflects the CIA actually knows what happens to the human body and what happens to the human soul after we die? Like there's a declassified document from 1980, I think, where they actually say that the CIA was trying to actually capture your spirits. So when you die and they leave your body, and they actually say that when you die, your spirit doesn't actually die. So it's kind of like it kind of proves the point that we are actually sort of like immortal. So we're not just confined to the body. There's something more than this. Maybe the soul is going somewhere else, outside the space and time. It was pretty interesting actually. If you look at the document from like 1980, you might be able to find it on Google, but some of the Google actually kind of like blocks some of those links as well. So maybe at a different website you might be able to find it. Okay, then there was something about Julian Assange. After years of legal battles, Julian Assange was freed in June 2024. 2024, yeah. After that long period of time, what was the point? Assange reached an agreement with the U.S. Department of Justice, pleading guilty to a single felony charge of conspiring to obtain and disclose classified national defense documents. He was sentenced to time served for the 5 years spent in London's Belmarsh prison and returned home to Australia on June 26, 2024. Okay, organization and ethics mission. Its stated goal is to enhance global transparency and accountability by exposing unethical or illegal activities by government and corporations. Yeah, let me pull up the document. Let me see if I can pull up the document where CIA actually talks about human life. Okay, so this is the one. This is the one I'm actually going to read for you. So declassified CIA documents detailing astral projection, which the agency often termed remote sensing or remote viewing, primarily focused on the Gateway process and the Stargate project. The Gateway Report 1983. So it's from 1983. I'll correct. Did I say 1980 actually? Okay, the most prominent document is the 1983 report, Analysis and Assessment of the Gateway Process. It is written by Lieutenant Colonel Wayne and explores how it achieves out-of-body experience for intelligence. Out-of-body experience for intelligence gathering. Okay, Hemi-Sync Technique Institute. The process uses a training system developed by the Monroe Institute that synchronizes the left and the right brain hemisphere to alter consciousness. So they were actually experimenting on the human bodies because they know a brain has got different hemispheres, right? So they must have done a lot of research. They got access to all the best scientists. That synchronizes the left and the right brain hemisphere to alter consciousness. They were trying to alter human consciousness. And then the second one is the holographic universe. The report proposes that the universe is a massive energy hologram, and the consciousness can be transcend physical limits to access information from a time-space domain. So just like spiritual people actually believe that the universe is not actually real. It's not like a solid thing. It is made of something more fundamental, which is consciousness. That kind of proves that point. So it's an energy hologram, according to that report. And then there's missing page 25. For years, the report circulated without page 25, which reportedly contains the author's final conclusions about the absolute or universal consciousness. Oh my gosh. So we're actually missing page 25. That had the conclusion. Holy shit. The Stargate project. This was a secret U.S. Army and CIA unit established in 1977 to investigate the military applications of psychic phenomena. I'm guessing this is something with the drugs, right? Like when people take DMT or LSDs or those sort of drugs. Remote viewing. Instead of astral projection, the CIA preferred the term remote sensing to avoid occult connotations. Operational successes. They ate the page probably. Dude, there has to be something about it, right? Why isn't the page 25 actually available? Why is the page 25 missing? When you did that much research, when you're saying that it's a universe is like a hologram, it's like an energy hologram, and you're saying that you're trying to tamper with the left and the right hemisphere to access the consciousness, to alter consciousness, we need page 25. We need page 25, and we don't have page 25. All right. Operational success. Documents like astral projection caper describe experiments where subjects purposely located secret Soviet facilities in the Ural Mountains using only their minds. What? Describe experiments where subjects purportedly located secret Soviet facilities in the Ural Mountains using only their minds. Holy shit. Termination. The project was shut down in 1995 after a formal evaluation concluded that while some results exceeded chance, they were not consistent or specific through for reliable intelligence operations. Obviously, they wouldn't be consistent because not everybody can access those through their mind. You have to be fully locked in. You can find these and other related files directly in the CIA reading room. Key search terms include Gateway Process, Stargate Project. So remember the names actually. Just write it down maybe if you want to do more research on this one. Gateway Process, Stargate Project, and Remote Viewing. These are the names. These are the CIA documents that you need to access right now. Okay, and now this is not the only interesting thing. They were doing something else as well. What was that? That was the CIA Northwood operation, which I think has been removed from CIA documents now. Northwood operation. Let me read the Northwood operation to you. I'm going to open your eyes right now. Operation Northwoods. CIA has been doing that. Operation Northwoods was a 1962 proposed false flag operation. So you know about the false flag attacks, right? US and Israel are known for doing false flag attacks. By the United States Department of Defense and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It was designed to create public and international support for a military invasion of Cuba by staging fake or real terrorist attacks on American soil and blaming them on the Cuban government. CIA. That's in the documents. CIA has been doing that. CIA is telling you that we are actually doing it. That's in the documents. Key details of the proposal. Objective. To provide justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba by making it appear as though the U.S. was suffering from rash and irresponsible Cuban aggression. When have they not done it, actually? I think ever since 1962, every attack that the U.S. has been able to do, they have taken advantage of this Operation Northwood, and it's still in practice. They can say that the Operation Northwood is not in practice anymore, but it's been in practice. Look at 9/11. 9/11 is actually a part of it. What else? When they attacked Iraq, weapons of mass destruction, right? Oh, we're feeling a threat. That's kind of part of it. With Iran, they're saying that Dude, the guy who actually bought, the World Trade Center. I was probably telling you the story. So he bought World Trade Center 2 months before the attack, and he actually got paid a lot of amount of the after the World Trade Center actually got destroyed as like a reparation, right? He's also the guy who's bought a new tower right now. I'm forgetting the name of the tower. Actually, let me pull it up for you. Guy who bought, and they're saying there might be another false flag attack because he will actually make a lot of money again. But people are not as stupid anymore. Guy who bought Twin Towers, Larry Silverstein. Larry Silverstein is the guy, by the way. Larry Silverstein, Larry A. Silverstein, 1931, born in 1931, is an American billionaire businessman. How much did Larry pay for the World Trade Center? He paid $3.25 billion for the World Trade Center, but I'm pretty sure he made actually more than that. When he signed a 99-year lease on a 10.6 million square foot World Trade Center for $3.25 billion, only to be seen it had destroyed in terrorist attacks 6 weeks later on September 11, 2001. So Larry Silverstein is a guy. Oh, Larry Silverstein has now bought a U.S. bank tower. On July 20, 2020, it was announced that Larry Silverstein, the developer of the World Trade Center, purchased a building for reportedly $430 million. The deal closed in late September. So he's got a new tower now, dude. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Northwood operations, actually. Objective: to provide justification of U.S. military intervention in Cuba by making it appear as though the U.S. was suffering from rash and irresponsible Cuban aggression. Fake terrorism: bombing civilian targets in Miami, other Florida cities, and Washington, D.C. So that's what they've been doing. They've done as well. Stage attacks: sinking boats of Cuban refugees. Bro, this is like the history is repeating itself. You know the saying that history repeats itself? This is how the history actually repeats itself. Sinking boats of Cuban refugees. Does that ring a bell? Sinking the boats? Have we not done this with the Venezuela in the Caribbean rivers, sinking their boats, but the boats were not even carrying the drugs? There was no evidence of drugs on the boats, but we did that. Real or simulated, and blowing up the U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay. Aircraft hijacking, stating the shooting down of a civilian airliner or faking a Cuban attack on a U.S. military plane. I don't remember that one actually. Political framing, blaming any failure of high-profile events such as John Glenn's space flight on Cuban sabotage. The plan was drafted by the Joint Chiefs of Staff and signed by Chairman Lyman Lemnitzer on March 13, 1962. Rejection. Okay, the plan was rejected by somebody later on. I guess USA had a good leader after that. President John F. Kennedy, man. This is the guy. John F. Kennedy. This is my guy. It's the only U.S. good president, the only good president that USA actually had. John F. Kennedy rejected the proposal in March 1962, shortly after it was presented. Shortly thereafter, General Lemnitzer was removed from his position as chairman of the Joint Chiefs Staff. Declassifications. The documents remained secret for nearly 40 years until they were declassified in 1997 by the John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Review Board, and gained widespread public attention in 2001. So these documents actually gained public attention in 2001. So for like a long period of time, nobody actually knew about the documents. And although they are saying that the documents, this plan that they had made, the Operation Northwood, is not part of the CIA anymore. They don't do that anymore. It was just specifically made for Cuba. I feel like they're still doing it. I feel like maybe they have like a different document with a different name, but the purpose of the document is kind of the same. A 2025 agreement between the UK and the France to strengthen nuclear cooperation and deterrence. Okay, so now you know about the Operation Northwood as well. What else does CIA know? Aliens. They know about the aliens, right? Donald Trump said, I'm going to release the alien files, but they haven't released the alien files, bro. They haven't done anything with aliens. Oh my god, I did not know about this one. Jude, I did not know about this one. Notable declassified reports. I'm gonna read a report for you. The Soviet petrification incident. One viral document released by the CIA summarizes a KGB file regarding a 1989 to 1990 encounter in Siberia. It claims 23 Soviet soldiers were turned to stone. Holy shit. So this is superpower, bro. 23 soldiers were turned to stone after 5 humanoid creatures emerged from a downed saucer-shaped craft, emerged into a ball of light. Some crazy shit, bro. There's some universe, the galaxy shit. There's some high-level shit. Global sightings. Declassified cables include reports of flying saucers over various locations such as Belgian, Congo, uranium mines, and East Germany in the 1950s. So we're talking about like a long, long time ago. We're not saying this sighting actually happened like 2 years ago. This sighting has been happening since 1950. People have been seeing stuff like this. Flying saucers, soldiers turning to stone. That's unbelievable, bro. That is unbelievable. Whistleblower claims in 2023, a former intelligence official, David Grush, I know David Grush actually, I've seen that, testified that the US government has recovered non-human biologics and craft of non-human origin, though these claims remain unsubstantiated by the Pentagon. Executive orders. In February 2026, President Trump directed the Department of Defense to begin identifying and releasing government files related to the extraterrestrial life and the UAPs. I mean, this is pretty recent that they actually, Donald Trump said that he would be releasing those files. He directed the Department of Justice to begin that. So what do you think about this? Do you think you believe in aliens now? Okay, I'm gonna say that we don't have like a very strong evidence, but just based on the sightings that we've been having since 1950s, and not just in one part of the world, different parts of the world. Like we have sightings in Russia, Siberia, UK, USA, and then there's some other instances in Zimbabwe as well, like other different places of the world. Just based on that many sightings, and based on some recent investigations as well, where people are telling you a real life story. There are people who actually come out and told us a real life story of what happened, and they were pretty right in telling us the story. I think at least we deserve an investigation into this. I think at least we deserve some sort of transparency on this topic. We people need to know about this. Okay, let's go. History of alien sightings. You know, I'm gonna pull up all the history of the alien sightings. Let's see how far back in history we can actually go. While unexplained aerial phenomena, UAP, have been recorded by millennia, the modern era of alien sightings began in 1947, sparked by the Kenneth Arnold sighting and the Roswell incident. Historically, these sightings have evolved from ancient portents in the sky to the technical flying saucers of the 1950s and the triangular UAPs of the 21st century. Before the term UFO existed, witnesses interpreted strange lights through religious or cultural lenses. By the way, okay, we're talking about the sightings from like 1950s, right? But what about like BC stuff? What about like the stuff before Christ? What about the stuff that we've been experiencing for like thousands of years? Maybe in different shapes or different forms. Maybe those people have different ways to explain it, because they hadn't seen anything like flying saucers or something like this, so they didn't know how to explain it. That at that time, the way they could explain would actually match the time right now, the way we can explain. The explanation would be in a different way, but it would be exactly the same thing. So Roman historian, we talk about 218 BC, Livy recorded phantom ships gleaming in the sky. Phantom ships gleaming in the sky. How do you have like a ship in the sky? I mean, these guys hadn't seen any planes, right? So they couldn't have described them as like planes or like a helicopter or like a flying saucer or anything like this, because they didn't believe there is anything humans could produce that could fly. So he's saying phantom ships gleaming in the sky. What was the biggest mode of communication back in the days? Biggest mode of communication was the ships. Ships have been around for a long, long time. And that's what they saw, a flying ship. 1561, a mass sighting in Nuremberg described an aerial battle between spears, cylinders, and the crosses. What do you want to say about this, right? How do you want me to reject this? There's no way I can debunk this theory. A mass sighting that describes aerial battles. So we're talking different sort of weapons, different sort of the modes of communication. So it's not just like a flying saucer now. It's spears, cylinders, and crosses. There's different objects flying around. Just imagine you see that stuff going on right now. And this is 1561. I can only imagine what those people are actually thinking about. 1639, the first recorded North American sighting occurred when Governor John Winthrop noted a green light in the sky, great light in the sky over Massachusetts that reportedly transported men in a boat. 1639, he's seeing men in a boat. A great light in the sky that is reportedly transported men in a boat. It's transporting men in a boat. So there's like a green light that is coming out of a spaceship. It's not even saying a spaceship. So it's just a green light, and then there's men in a boat. I don't understand it, actually. I really don't understand it. So is there like a man in a boat in a sky, and then the green light is actually transporting? So the men are actually flying out from the green light, and they're actually going into the boat, which is also in the sky. Or is it that the men in a boat were actually down in the river? There's a boat in the river, and then the green light is actually transporting the men from the sky to the boat. But whatever that is kind of crazy. I mean, this is the kind of shit these people have been seeing. My brain cannot even process this. I think I'm gonna need some sleep after that. The golden age of flying saucers. Okay. The modern fascination with the aliens was birthed post World War II, coinciding with the dawn of the space age and the Cold War. The Arnold sighting, 1974. 1947, pilot Kenneth Arnold reported 9 objects moving like a saucer skipping across water, leading the press to coin the term flying saucers. So we're talking about the flying saucers, but he's not seeing one flying saucer. He's seeing 9 flying saucers. That's what he's seeing. This is kind of crazy. And then we have the Roswell incident. Debris found on a New Mexico ranch was initially reported as a flying disc before being identified by the military as a weather balloon. Later revealed to be part of the top secret. Okay, I'm not actually going to consider this one because they're saying they did a bit of investigation on this and it proved out to be something else. Proved out to be a weather balloon. Project Blue Book. The U.S. Air Force systematically investigated 12,618 reports, while 701 remained unidentified. The project concluded there was no evidence of extraterrestrial origin. Then we have Betty and Barney Hill, the first widely published alien abduction account in 1961, involving medical exams and missing time. The Rendlesham Forest in 1980, often called Britain's Roswell military personnel at a joint US base, reported a metallic, glowing craft in the woods. Then we have the Phoenix Lights, 1997. Growing crafts in the woods is actually kind of crazy. So now we've seen like the flying objects, we've seen the flying saucers, we've seen light transporting men into the boat, we've seen disc-shaped objects, and now we're actually in the forest and we're seeing growing craft in the woods. So aliens are everywhere, bro. Aliens are literally everywhere. They're in the sky, they're in the rivers, they're in the jungles. And then we have the Phoenix Lights. Thousands in Arizona witnessed a massive silent V-shaped craft with 5 lights passing over the city. So this one has got 5 lights passing over the city and it's V-shaped. So aliens possess a lot of technology as well. They have different modes of communication. So aliens are not just traveling in like a disc-shaped object. They're not just that. I mean, look at the technology that we have. We have airplanes, we have helicopters, we have boats, we have ships, we have different type of technologies, right? They all look different. So aliens, why would you assume that aliens would only travel in like a disc-shaped spaceship? They're traveling in different objects as well, different shape. They got cool objects. They've got the objects with the lights passing over the city. They also have the mode of communication that can actually go through the river. They have the modes of communication that in the jungle, that can travel in the jungle. So aliens are pretty cool, actually. In recent years, the terminology has shifted to unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, to reduce stigma and focus on scientific data. Oh, I'm going to tell you a nice one now. Leak and subsequent confirmation of Navy Pentagon declassification of 2017 to 2020 Navy pilot videos like the TikTok brought the topic back into mainstream government discourse. Okay, who knows about TikTok, by the way? TikTok, by the way. The TikTok incidents was unbelievable. There's an object that is traveling in all different directions. So we don't have a plane. I don't even know if it's possible according to the laws of the universe. When you have a plane, it's either traveling in a straight line or it could go circular, but it's never rotating and then going straight at the same time. It's never doing this and then going straight. So the movement that TikTok was actually making, it's kind of impossible according to the laws that we believe, that we have, that we understand, that we as humans understand in the universe. We've never seen anything like this, and we haven't been able to make an object like that. Not a plane, not a balloon, not a helicopter. We've not been able to make anything like this. Insane. Congressional hearing. The first published hearings in over 50 years of feature testimony regarding military encounters and potential government cover ups of non human craft. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Guys, I'm going to get out of the stream. I hope you actually took something out of it, to be honest. And I had a lot of fun actually doing this. And I think I might be doing more streams where we're just talking about like the scientific stuff. We were just talking about the aliens. We're talking about the sightings. And we're talking about what happens, the CIA documents and all of this. Informative topics sometimes, right? I like doing this. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, it was great. Thank you.